Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Short Rod Show. You're talking with Ben?
And Brett.
Thanks for joining us. We are up to episode 18, I believe.
It's good to be back.
Good to be back. We're down in the studio today.
Had a little hiatus last week.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the throwback episode, but we're back in the studio ready to record another episode of the Short Rod Show.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks. Did some fishing trips. Had some work trips that, kind of slowed us down last week. And
did a little traveling, but...
Yeah, just got home from the Dakins Lake Derby.
Yep. Yeah, so what are we talking about today?
I think we'll talk a little bit about fishing that we did last week.
Yep.
So we got a Mississippi trip. We've got Dakins Lake pre-fish. Then talk a little bit about fishing this week.
Sounds good. Yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well out on the water. We're kind of into the late part of the season now.
Yep.
Fish is getting a little bit tough.
Yep.
Ice is getting thick. Augers are getting a workout.
Yep. Yeah, we're on, 12 inches ice, at least.
At least.
Today.
Yep.
Some spots where the snow wasn't there, I bet you're pushing 18.
Yep. Saw a couple guys hand augering it still.
Yeah.
Good
oh,
for
yeah.
them.
Yeah. Getting after it. Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, we'll talk about all that and a little bit more coming up next on
The Short Rod Show.
Hey there, guys. If you've been over to our website lately over at shortrodshow.com and like what you see, you should get in touch with our partners over at Evergrow Marketing. They're a digital marketing agency that works primarily with landscape and lawn care businesses, but they also work with guys like us. They can help your business show up on Google and also get you a lot more customers through their unique digital marketing methods. Reach out to them over at evergrowmarketing.com and make sure you mention that Ben and Brett sent you from the Short Rod Show podcast to get an additional 10% off your first bill. You know, Brett, I was poking around on Facebook the other day, and I could just not find the Short Rod Show. What's the deal?
Oh, you just got to punch us in on Google.
What do you mean? We show up on Google already?
Oh, yeah. The Evergrow team hooked us up.
Holy cow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal. I'll try that now.
Yeah, right. You just punch in Short Rod Show, and we'll come up on our website, shortrodshow.com. It'll come up on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Awesome. So people can find us all over now.
Yeah, all over the internet.
That's great. We're also on Instagram, too. I've been trying to keep up with that. Posting some cool pictures. When we're out on the ice, you can check us out there, too.
Yeah, sweet updates.
Awesome. Check us out, guys.
Hey, welcome back, guys. So as we mentioned, Ben went on a little fishing trip out to Mississippi backwaters, kind of right around his home place.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that trip, who went with you. You left me at home, so...
Yeah, Brett unfortunately couldn't make it out on this trip, but we still had a good time.
Yeah.
Just took the Short Rod Show truck. I'm sure you guys saw all the engine lights that were on randomly.
Yeah, that one made it around Facebook pretty good.
Oh, my gosh. As soon as I fired it up, just every light came on.
Every light
in
came
the
on.
dash was on. But yeah, made it over to just south of Dubuque is kind of where we stayed, the Bellevue area.
Yeah.
And had a good time scouting water there, but realized it was not going to be the right kind of ice for what we were looking for.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the water's high.
Water's high. Ice is not very thick.
Yeah.
So we went north of Dubuque a little ways.
Yeah.
So that'd be pool 11.
Okay. Bellevue area? No, you're further than that. Guttenberg? Not that far north.
Well, from Guttenberg down to Dubuque, I think is pool 11.
Oh, that's where you're at?
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, we were on the north side of the dam and drove out a couple miles on the quad. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think the Mississippi, it's an intimidating beast.
Yes.
But it's probably the best fishery that you have access to in Iowa, that you can use your Iowa fishing license on.
Yeah. Yep. That was definitely a plus.
You hear a lot about Iowa Great Lakes, Bogey, Spirit Lake. You hear a lot about Clear Lake, but Mississippi blows them all out of the water.
Definitely the potential is there for some monster fish.
Oh, gosh.
Good quantities of fish.
We had that one listener, that Duffy from Lansing.
Yeah.
Sent in that 41-inch pike.
Huge.
Oh, geez, and that was just right in the marina, right in town.
Yeah, you never know.
Holy shit.
So yeah, we got out there, started fishing Saturday, a little bit in the morning, and basically just kind of picked a spot, just looked around along some railroad tracks, looking for structure. Basically, is kind of what I was scoping out.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of people out there along the tracks area, and 10 to 12 inches of ice, which was good.
Yeah,
and parked over a kind of a brush pile looking spot, and caught some nice bluegill. some nice bass as well.
So when you're talking fishing the backwaters, so I know you mentioned like Mud Lake. Mm-hmm. Is that like, so how is that connected to the Mississippi?
So Mud Lake is part of the Mississippi.
Okay.
So basically it's kind of a protected area.
Deeper pool off the main channel?
It's not really that deep either. Yeah.
Okay.
It's off the main channel, but it's protected by kind of a land.
Kind of meanders?
I don't know, like a dike almost.
So is it like an oxbow type body of water?
What does that mean?
So like where the old channel used to be at one point, but
no.
Over thousands of years it's moved to where it was.
No, it doesn't look like. I think it's more of a man-made kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe they dredged the main channel and then threw the stuff up off to the side, and that kind of made Mud Lake, because it was really shallow going through it on the main part, and then you had the further out you got, the more kind of the river kind of cut into it.
Yeah.
So it was a couple miles out down the way, and got onto about 8 feet of water, 7 to 8 feet of water.
Oh, that's
maybe
not too bad.
10 feet from shore. So it was a pretty good drop off, right on some structure, right on the trees. That's where all the big bluegills were coming out of, and
nice.
And bass were roaming around too. And it was a totally different kind of bite than what I was used to, which was cool. A typical lake bite, you drop your jig down, you see a fish come right up on the flasher.
They hit it.
It's either they want it or they don't.
Yep.
If they don't want it, you're switching baits, you're switching spots, whatever. Here, they'd kind of mosey up to it, and we actually got the camera out to check it out.
Yep.
And see what was coming up, and it was a lot of bass coming in and out, and they were just pretty lethargic. They
weren't into it.
Not real active. The ones that came up were beasts. The one I caught was about a 3-pound.
Ooh, nice.
I mean, real nice, solid bass. And he was just a hog. But every other bass we could get to kind of come in would look at it and kind of just move away.
So do you think these were like heavily pressured fish, or do you think it was just...
I think it's just kind of more of a midwinter kind of bite where they're just slowing down.
They're just kind of,
I mean, bass aren't super active in the winter. I mean, they can be.
Yep.
But especially here, not a lot.
Kind of hitting.
Could have been kind of a low oxygen kind of deal too. Maybe they
I don't know
as much.
I don't know exactly how that would work with the Mississippi right there. Or how oxygen would. I don't know how the concentrations of oxygen move throughout the water columns. I don't know how that works. But.
Yeah, and then the second day got in some nice bluegills. Got really chewed up.
Yeah. I was talking to you on the phone. You said, one got chewed up by looked like chewed on by a pike or something.
Or
like that,
turtle or something.
Turtle.
Yeah. Yep. Snapped the back end of it into the meaty part pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Got some cool pictures.
So sounds of it, you're stealing some of your grandpa's spots is what you guys were doing. Not at all?
Nope. My grandpa's spots were not available to fish because of the ice.
Gotcha.
So basically he's more familiar with Pool 13. Yeah. And that was not, I mean, there's no ice anywhere from the dam as far as you could see downriver, south of Bellevue.
Oh, geez.
No ice at all. And normally there'll be, I guess, most years there'll be, maybe some walleye access right off the dam, and then all froze up south of that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
So that was just probably a combination of it being warm /
I think a lot of water, just mostly the high water. It just kind of chewed it all up.
Yeah.
The river is up over 12, 13 feet the week before, and then down, it was still at 11.5.
Yep.
So not real great.
And I'm sure that's kind of what turns some people off of it, is just the unpredictability.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
river.
Tough. But yeah, the bite was very, very light, and it was definitely bring out your finesse setups.
Yeah.
We were fishing the tungsten caddis, the regular caddis, trying to use those to get on the bite, and that's what did really well.
And you tried to hold it as steady as possible.
Yeah, basically sitting in the shelter, prop your rod up on your knee, holding it, looking down the rod.
Down the barrel.
Yep, and watching it. And occasionally you get a little up pressure, and occasionally you get a little down pressure.
And that's set the hook.
And you it's better off to wait a little bit, actually, and let them chew it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Make sure they had it in their mouth.
It was a lot of missed bites, but it was still a lot of fun. I probably missed 10 or 20 fish over that. And
Holy
that's with
smokes.
me actually, being concentrated on it. Buddy Brandon got into it.
Yeah.
Got
Cold
the pattern
Front Peterson.
Cold Front Peterson got the pattern figured out. So that was pretty exciting. I know he was pumped about it. And yeah, he's ready to get back out on the ice too.
Finally got that radioactive pickle to work.
Took another listener with us, Alex.
Yeah.
Man, he had a good time. So that was cool. He was jazzed about it as well. He had to leave Saturday night, so fortunately he didn't get in on the blizzard bluegill action on Sunday, but
Yeah, that's fine.
that was fun. So yeah, we had a great trip.
Sounds like you guys were crushing it pretty good.
Yeah, we'll do it again next year because I mean, really for the distance, we're about 3 hours away. It wasn't
That's
an
not
all day
bad.
kind of trip on the road all the time. So
Yep.
probably base camp out of Dubuque and go a little north even.
So any crazy stories? Anything, Brandon,
Well,
do anything wild?
We didn't have too many crazy stories.
Didn't get into the White Claws too deep?
No, not too bad. We were out in the parking lot, frying up some fish on the little one burner
Oh, yeah.
right next to the pickup. So that was cool.
Nice. Some of those bluegills you caught?
Yep, bluegills and bass too.
Yeah, yeah.
Filleted them out.
Oh, yeah, couple green walleyes, huh?
Green walleyes. They tasted good. They tasted just as good as the bluegills.
There you go.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And then you were out a little closer to home over on Dakin's Lake.
Yeah, I ran on up to Dakin's. We talked about it a little bit. Wanting to fish that tournament or the derby. That was today. So I wanted to get up there and try at least kind of have an idea lay of the land. So last weekend ran up there because I'd only fished it one other time prior to that, open water. So I had an idea of where a few cribs were at and
There is some cool
of the
structure
Yeah,
marked
yeah,
on
yeah.
there. We'll have to investigate that.
We'll have to do a little more digging. I brought home one of their lake maps, so we'll see what that looks like. Open water one day, but
Yep.
I went out there, wanted to check out some spots, so got up real early last Sunday. Probably made it on the water about 7, just as the sun was kind of coming up.
Yep. Perfect.
Went and hit up a pallet kind of tower hotel deal. Caught a bunch of little bluegills right away. So I was like,
Just
all right.
little.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 inches. They weren't real big. Then just kind of dinking around there. Had a couple suspended marks come in, reeled up to them. Pulled in one real nice, I don't know, probably 11.5, 12-inch crappie. And that got me pumped. I was like, ooh, maybe we're on to something here.
The decoy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was the decoy, but...
Well, you didn't catch any other ones.
No, I didn't catch any other ones, you're right. But
That's
I didn't
the
spend a
decoy.
whole lot of time there either afterwards. But that made me feel real good, maybe a little overconfident about
Sure.
today's tournament.
Yeah, we had high hopes going in.
So I was kind of poking around there, drilling some holes, and then a guy I work with, Tristan, or used to work with, met him out there, and we went kind of back. So this lake's kind of divided into 2 areas, where there's kind of an open area where the DNR drop structure. That's probably 60% of the lake. And then there's probably 40% of the lake is back, and there's just a bunch of trees that they flooded. And so we went back in there, found a few trees that looked like kind of your conifer evergreen type trees. And I was like, those will be, because the branch structure underneath the water is super dense with those types of trees. So I was like, we'll go right on those. Started fishing some of those, and the bluegill class was definitely better than what I was fishing out on the man-made structure.
There's some solid fish.
Yeah, we were caught. I measured the one, and it was 8 3/4 inches, which is, I felt pretty good about that. I was real confident. We caught quite a few 8.5 inchers. So I was like, all right, got a slight game plan for the tournament. They were fairly tough to catch. You had to kind of finesse them a little bit.
Yep.
So what the key was bringing Tristan along with me, and it's a lot like our how we fish is I usually find the spots.
Yep.
And then Ben's the one who catches them. So I found the spots, and then Tristan was just straight crushing the 8.5-inch bluegills, just one right after another.
Was it still that tough kind of bite where they'll mosey in and?
Well, so they'd mosey. The
Real
ones that
light
would
bite.
mosey in real slow wouldn't bite, but the ones that would come, they'd come in fast.
Yep.
Boom, hit it,
Those are the
and
ones.
go.
Spend all your time.
Yep.
Trying to get those.
Yep. They were fast.
Those
The ones
big
that were
ones.
dinking around would never bite. But what he was running and what I ran today was the double drop rig, is what I'm calling it.
Tell me more.
It's nothing that fancy or special. I've seen it before where.
Sounds deadly.
So what you're running is you got one jig that you tie a polymer knot to, and you leave, I don't know, I probably left 8-inch tag line on it. So that's kind of a jig that's in the line, and then on the other end of that tag, you tie another jig. So essentially you got 2 jigs tied onto one line. Not that we ever caught any on the second on the
top one?
on the mid jig, yeah, but everything came on that bottom jig. But I don't know. I think that extra movement in the water between between the two, I don't know, seemed to work well.
And it did well for you today too.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
run that same kind of rig, and you outfished me.
Yeah, what I'd see is a lot of them would come into that upper jig, but then they'd end up finishing and eating that bottom one. I don't know why they didn't like that upper
And
one.
what kind of jigs were you running?
Shit, I don't know what that one was. I don't know what the middle one was. It's kind of a flat jig.
Yeah, the more horizontal.
Real light.
Well, it's more
lead.
like a 3/4 kind of position.
Well, that's just kind of the way it's sat on the line.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not quite.
But the
horizontal
eyelet's straight out the top.
Okay, yeah.
And it's kind of flat. I don't know what that's called. It had an eye on it. It was white.
Is that from a schoolie rig?
No, that was from a Craigslist purchase. It was a jig that was already tied onto one of the rods. Yeah.
Cool.
And then I just had a regular tungsten dropper, 5 mil on the bottom jig, pink, and with just a wax worm. Well, so this is one thing I was doing different, and was usually I'll put 2 wax worms on a jig hook, squish them so they're all kind of popped and tingly out there, send that down. For some reason, I was getting more bites if I would just single hook the wax worm like through the one end, so it was just sitting on the edge, totally intact still.
Gotcha.
That seemed to be the play. I don't know why, but
not too bad.
No, that definitely seemed to work.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that was about all that we really had happen last weekend.
Yep.
So we came up. I mean, I felt real good about catching a handful of 8.5, 8 3/4 inch bluegills. I knew there were some decent crappies to be caught out there, so I was like, all right, Ben, it's go time.
We got the plan.
Yeah.
So this derby is really cool. It's for the Ziering EMS, Fire EMS, basically a fundraiser for them. It's kind of more of a town celebration. Get your family out, get a bunch of people out on the ice just having a good time.
Yeah.
It's not a real competitive event.
No, $10 Tanner.
Which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Cool format.
Oh, yeah, it was a blast.
Yep.
We got there, 6:30 this morning.
Man.
So that's right when registration starts, 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, we'll get there. Maybe we'll have to do some dinking around for a little bit. We'll obviously be the first ones there.
Chat with some people.
Yeah. No. The parking lot was already full at 6:30 in the morning.
Yep.
That was impressive.
People were serious about it. I mean, they were out there.
Yep.
It's basically more of it's a derby. It's not a tournament. So,
yeah. So what's the difference between derby and tournament, Ben?
I still don't know.
I still don't know. But I think it has to do just with, okay, a tournament, you're going to get your sled checked for fish. You're going to be sitting at the ramp, lined up, waiting for the start time to start. It's a little bit more formal.
Yep. You're not out punching holes.
Yep.
Until the tournament starts. The derby, on the other hand, I mean, you go out, you claim your spot.
Yeah.
You get set up on it. You punch a bunch of holes, whatever you want. And then it's a shotgun start. It's like a air horn goes off at 8 o'clock.
Drop lines in at 8 o'clock.
That's when you can start fishing. Now, the good part about that is you're not, it's more relaxed. It's more family friendly.
Yep.
People aren't running around all over trying to catch fish.
Yep.
And get on the good spots first.
And this was only a big fish deal. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that counted was the biggest bluegill, biggest crappie, and then it was just overall biggest fish, which ended up being a pair of catfish.
Yep.
This time.
Little suspect, though, on the 8 o'clock start time.
Yeah. They blew the air horn at 8 o'clock, and the biggest catfish was weighed in at what? 8:05?
8:06.
8:06, which I feel like 8:06 was even generous. I think it was sooner than that.
Yeah, it was within a couple minutes, and a guy was running across the ice.
Yeah, I was
weighed.
I mean, I'm not saying anything fishy was happening, but I just imagine what was happening was he'd already had that fish hooked, and he was just letting it swim around down there until 8 o'clock and then reeled it in.
Yep, but it's all catch and release, which is cool.
Yeah.
So
for a small park, I mean, Dakin's is only maybe 35 acres, and I bet there were there was 236 entries. So
that's a good fundraiser.
Yep.
But yeah, just as you run your fish up, keep it alive in a little Ziploc bag they give you.
Yep.
In some water, run it up there. They measure it, no weights. So that's also a nice thing. Just, however long bluegill, however long crappie.
Yep.
and then they throw it back down the hole, and away you go. What I think happened was the bite was pretty good right away.
Yeah.
So we were on your spot, catching some nice bluegills. You got a 8 3/4,
8.5 initially.
8.5, and then
was that first
8
one
3/4.
Yeah.
And then I was catching some similar size ones, 7.5, 8s around there.
Yeah.
And then I think once all the bigger ones were caught, they released them over towards the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
And I think they got spooked after that when the bigger ones weren't kind of hanging out.
I mean,
there
I guess
anymore.
that's a theory.
That's what I think.
I feel like it just got later in the day and the bite just got tougher. Would be more my theory.
It was packed over there. There was lots of people around.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was shoulder to shoulder there for a while, hut to hut.
Hut to hut. Yep. And then the bite didn't pick up again until 11 o'clock probably.
Yeah.
And it didn't pick up as much as what it had.
Yeah, there was a nice little lunchtime pickup there. I mean, the winning bluegill was caught at, so the derby ends at 1 o'clock. No more length taken, and the winning bluegill was caught at 12:24, I think is when it was. So I mean, that's kind of, or 12:34, one or the other. It doesn't matter, but
yeah, still pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of the bitter end there. They grinded that out for a 9 1/4 inch bluegill.
Yep.
Which is on a public lake that's only that big.
Yep.
I think that's real solid.
Yeah, it's not a secret spot by any means. It's not, people know there's good fish in there, and
Yep.
it's a public place, like you said. So
Yep.
That's doing pretty well. And then afterwards, had some good prizes handed out. They had a nice raffle. We got to meet one of our fans, Mike. Shout out to you, Mike. That was cool talking to you.
That was great chatting with you, man.
He pulled me right out of a crowd and said, "Hey, I know you guys." So that was awesome.
So what really cracked me up before we get too far off the ice conversation, while we were on there, these two boys came up to us.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 10 or 11, 12 years old.
I don't even think that much. I was
They
going
were
to say like
chatting,
8
and they'd built a
6.
snow fort. They built a snow fort out back, and for some reason they'd use their own sled to build it. I don't know what they'd... So they're going around asking if they could borrow people's sleds to go move something. I don't know. And we were chatting with them, and we had all of our stuff piled in our sled. So I was like, well, we kind of have a lot of stuff in there, guys. So, kind of go ask these other people or something.
Who knows if we ever get the sled back.
But then they were sitting there chatting, and they were like, well, what should we do? What should we do? And the guy's like, well, we can belly crawl and try to hide from Grandpa, is what they're trying to do. I was like, oh, gosh.
They did.
So about, an hour, you'd say, later?
Yep.
This older fella comes walking by. Hey, have you seen these two boys with this white sled?
Around? Oh, yeah. Yeah, God, what the heck were they working on? They were kind of weird.
Yeah. We were like, what's going on over here? He's like, I'm looking for them. I knew they built a fort up in the trees up here, and they were collecting these sticks. But he's like, yeah, I'm looking for the sled and there his two grandsons or whatever. And I'm like, well, they're probably just back up there eating chili. That's probably where they ended up. He's like, oh yeah, you're probably right.
Yep.
But it just cracked me up that then later on the grandpa sauntered on over. Hey, have you seen these two?
Talking about schoolies with it.
Yeah. That's all he fishes with. Schoolies.
He actually orders them right from Schoolie themselves, the 40s.
That's impressive that he's running the 40-incher. Yeah. I'll have to order one of those.
The 40-incher with the wooden handle.
The deluxe.
Plastic.
Well, yeah, they're only $2 more.
Oh, really? Like actual wood?
For the deluxe, yeah.
Is it the fake plastic wood?
No, that one's actual wood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'd be worth it.
You think?
So it'd be $13.99 instead of $11.99?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Well, for the short one. I think the 40s are $15.
Oh, there you go.
But, yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Pretty slick. And, yeah, they had all kinds of raffle prizes and prizes to hand out. And what were the biggest fish that were caught?
Biggest fish, so we had the bluegill, which was 9 1/4. We had crappie. So, yeah, this was a whole nother freaking debacle. So they take you out to 3 places. And I did not realize this. I thought it was just big fish take all, was what I thought.
Yep.
But no, they go out to 3 places.
Now
so
we know.
Crappie, no, the winner was like 11.5. Second place was like 10. Well, lo and behold, no one weighed in a third place crappie. There were no third place crappie. There was not a third crappie.
Only 2 crappies
brought in. Well, so I had caught previously about an 8-inch crappie, and I was like, there's no way somebody's already won this. So I just put it back. Frickin' should have went there, took it up to the scale.
Who knows what? A $20 gift card to the
there was a
gas station.
Rod reel combo.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they weren't exactly a bullwhip by any means.
Well, you'd
but,
never use it anyway. It's not a scoop.
No, I'd just throw it in the trash probably. Maybe sell it on Craigslist.
Give it to your son maybe someday.
Yeah, no. He's got to have the schoolies.
It's going to be on schoolies only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Now we know.
But yeah, freaking could have had third place crappie, but I put her back in the hole.
Man, and he was right in with all the bluegills.
Yep, right there in with all the bluegills.
Running around.
It was the only up bite that I got.
Yep.
But yeah, it was kind of a tough bite today even.
Yeah,
I mean, you really
it was
had
windy.
to...
Sun was out.
Yeah.
High skies.
Yeah, you really had to kind of hold your bait. So primarily I was running that double drop rig and Cadis. And I'd say 50-50 on either one, but the key was to hold it dead still once those fish were on you. Jig it to get them to come in and look at you, and then don't
Just
freaking move.
Yep.
Because if you'd move even a little bit, or I noticed if you had your line too far out of the water, the wind would blow your line, and they'd take off.
Yep.
You had to hold that bait dead ass still.
Yeah, and I think that's something that people don't realize if they're new to ice fishing on the different kinds of bites and how to recognize those. Because if you weren't recognizing that, you weren't catching any fish.
No.
You know, you'd be
Well,
jigging.
that one lady said that.
Yeah. She's like, hey, send some of those
They
over
haven't caught
here.
a damn thing.
If she only knew what we were going through to try and catch those, because it was pretty intense.
Yeah. Well, Ben, you could have had yourself maybe even the first place crappie if you'd have gotten off your damn phone.
Had a call from work on my phone, still jigging, of course. You know, I'm not bringing my line out of the water.
Yeah.
And had a high flyer mark come in on the other side of the lake. We were testing that out in about 14 feet or so.
Yeah.
And, got a fish on. And so I'm like lifting the rod out of the water while I'm like, hey, I got to go. Trying to hang the phone up.
Yeah.
And must not set the hook hard enough in him.
Yeah.
Reeling him up. And, nope. Gets off right at the hole. It was a crappie. Would have been right up there, I bet.
Well, yeah, I guarantee it would have been at least third.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dang it. So,
Dang it.
Be there next year.
Yeah, next year we've kind of got the ropes now. This is the first year we've done it. I'll definitely go back. That was a blast.
Yep.
Very friendly, family friendly.
Yep.
Go set up your shacks. Let your kids play in the shack.
Yeah.
Go out and fish.
Let your kids make a fort and belly crawl hiding from Grandpa.
Yeah, that was funny.
That poor guy.
Then free chili lunch. When you get back.
Chili.
I mean, for a $10 entry, and that gets you into the raffle also. So I came home with some Snap-on socks and a mug or a thermos type deal.
Yep.
You came home with you had the straight furrow hat.
Straight furrow hat.
And
a couple
two
koozies.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I mean, they have some real solid prizes also. I mean, for like winners,
Yeah.
I mean, they gave away an FL8, K-drill,
Yep.
hub style shelters.
Yeah. So I guess the moral of this story and this episode is just get out and support your local community events like this, because we're the whole reason that they do that.
I mean, that was the town celebration.
Yes, that was their fundraiser for the year or for the season, whatever. And definitely sure beats giving $100 entry fee into a fancy tournament and then never getting anything out of it.
Yeah,
and just to give prizes to somebody that wins first place.
Yep. Yep.
So,
and I mean, I feel like everybody had an equal chance because you only need that one bite.
Yep.
It's only that one fish that you need.
Yep.
It makes it more random. I mean, there's not as much skill involved as if, hey, you have to weigh in 10 of these.
Yep.
But I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Yep. That was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, even the youth division could have just as easily come away with a bigger fish than the adult division.
Yeah, I
did.
thought that was cool. Just a separate youth division with their own prizes, their own raffle prizes, their own big fish.
Yep.
Different species, all that.
Yep.
So.
Gave away trophies for those.
Yeah, trophies.
Which, I mean, I would have taken a trophy. That would have been cool.
Yeah, it was like had a fish on it and everything.
Yeah.
It was a legit trophy.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Awesome. What else you got, Brett?
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I was going to comment a little bit about on Dakin's also is the water clarity difference. Because when we were up in the trees, it's a little closer to the channel. Mm-hmm. That water was much dirtier than the water out in the open area, which I thought was kind of interesting. It didn't really seem to affect the bite a whole lot, I don't think, but
you could tell they could still see the bait from a ways away.
Yeah.
Coming in.
Where in the dirtier water, they had to be on top of you before they really noticed that bait was there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish we would have had the camera to run that.
Yeah.
The old
Got
Markham
the blue
Recon
screen of death.
Plus has a blue screen.
Yeah.
And it did that one other time, and looking it up and doing a support ticket with Markham, send it back in. It was the only thing they could come up with.
Damn.
And I don't know, I'm pretty sure they replaced the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I got it back under warranty, thankfully, but now definitely not under warranty. So maybe looking at a different camera setup.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
See what comes out. Maybe AquaView. I like their handheld setups.
We'll just get the RT9.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The RT9.
Isn't that what it's called?
What a joke.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Heck
Yeah.
no.
Heck no.
I do like the little handheld size of cameras. That's slick. Throw it in
Yeah.
your pocket. You can go scouting with it.
Yeah, drop it everywhere you go.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what it looked like, what that tree looked like under the water. Because we found a nice little seam. So one thing about fishing in trees and with your flashers, and you'll find this out pretty quick if you haven't done it before, you can't see shit down there. But by the time you got areas of the branches and stuff and all that, you can't see really where the fish are coming in at, and you can't barely see your
Kind of creates
jig.
a shadow area where your beam is going over a stick or a log, whatever, and if your jig's below that, it's never going to see it because it's kind of hiding out in that dead zone under the cone. So
it's tough to see what the fish are doing. So we found a nice seam where I was fishing that we were obviously in the tree area, but in my cone area, it was very clear. I mean, we were fishing 12 foot of water, and I didn't have any branches or anything in my way until I got down to 10 foot, which I thought that was pretty big. Really allowed you to see those fish coming in, allowed you to kind of work them as much as we could.
And really the way to help get around that is to punch holes and find the spot.
See, especially fishing those tree type things.
Your
like
spot
situations.
was better than my spot.
And we were 3 feet away.
I had 5 spots the whole day, I'm pretty sure, and none of them were as good as yours. You could see more. Your jig was always visible. Mine was kind of fading in and out. It had multiple branches down before I could see my other part of my jig. And then also, too, just having a dual cone, that helps me a little bit, too, where I could narrow that beam down to my 8-degree beam and actually see my jig better, but it still wasn't. It wasn't a great flasher kind of setup for fishing in the trees, but that's where the fish are.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of the moral of that little part that I brought up was don't be afraid to drill a pile of holes if you're fishing in trees like that to really kind of find the spot on the spot. Because if you can get your jig down in there, get it as close to that structure as possible, but you can't be getting snagged up all the time, or else that's not going to do you any good. I mean, when you had that one hole you were in, you caught 2 fish, and each time you got hung up on a branch, you had to wait for them to work their way back out to.
Yeah, that was a little touch and go there.
Yeah,
give them a little extra slack. Hope they come out.
I was surprised that happened. I thought I can't believe you got them both out. You didn't lose a jig. But then you did lose a jig in the other.
Lost one jig.
Yeah.
So.
Lost one tungsten caddis.
Get with Widowmaker and get a resupply going.
Yeah.
I've lost a few of those just on branches, but that's where the fish are at.
Yeah.
They're sticking tight to structure, especially late season right now. So got to get in it. To win it.
What else did I use? Oh, I did use the Acme rattle jig. I haven't brought that up. I don't think I've really brought that up since St. Paul show. Dude, that thing. So when we went to the St. Paul show, I was asking the guy, I was like, so is this a jig that's going to catch fish, or is this catching fishermen? What's this thing doing? And he's like, yeah. It's going to catch fish. Well, that thing is a fish catcher.
Yeah. Tom Boley even said.
Yeah, that thing's
Crappies.
legit. That hook is so freaking sharp. I mean, you can't hardly, like when I'm tying it on, my thumb is constantly getting stuck by the tip of that hook. Because it's so freaking sharp.
Heck yeah.
Like that hook is sticky.
Good stuff.
But yeah, that thing is a fish catcher.
Good deal. Good deal.
You got anything else, Ben?
No, I don't. I think that was a pretty good synopsis of what's going on in our world lately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanted to bring up the decals.
Jeez, you're just throwing it out at us.
Yeah, we got to chat about that. Or were you going to kind of slowly transition?
Oh, no, that's perfect. Talk about them.
I don't know. You make them.
If you guys are interested, we did release our decals on our Facebook page.
Yep.
There's instructions on there. Basically, look up my Venmo name. Send me a message on there. Send it through Facebook. That's fine too. But yeah, had a few people reach out and got them in the mail. Hopefully, you enjoy them and can stick them on your bucket, stick them on your sled.
Yeah.
Stick them on your truck, whatever.
Yeah.
They're
It
pretty
does
cool.
help support the podcast. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
that it's terribly expensive, but
Yeah,
we do have some expenses with this.
Yeah, Brett and I are just doing this for fun. We're not, taking sponsors right now or anything. We're just spending our own money and our own time just sitting down talking with you guys about ice fishing.
Yeah, just jonesing.
Jonesing around. And you guys are all listening in, which is pretty cool. We're up over 13,000 downloads so far. Some of our earlier episodes are cracking 1,000. Yep.
Yeah.
1,000 downloads. So that's really cool to see.
Dang.
And like we say in all the little commercial spots, it does help a lot going on iTunes and rating us. On Spotify, giving us the 5-star rating.
Yeah.
And especially writing the reviews, too. That's really cool to
see all that.
To see that.
Yeah, I mean, it not only does it help us rank better on the internet, and I don't know, however that stuff works, but it's also cool for us to see. It kind of keeps you driving and keeps you excited each week to keep doing these things.
Yeah, it's cool to know that you guys are looking forward each week to listening to us and hearing what we have to say, and we're just two guys from Iowa talking ice fishing.
Yeah.
Down in the basement.
Yeah, down in our basement. Hopefully next year we can upgrade maybe to an office of some
Maybe
sort.
to my basement.
Yeah, maybe to Ben's basement next year.
Good deal. All right, well, thanks everyone for joining us
On the Short Rod Show.